Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Everybody should be doing good because I know I'm doing good. I'm getting ready to interview Philip from Germany, right?
Yes, yes.
So actually, I met him through JR. He was out. Yeah, if you guys are on live, I want to try something a little different. Just hashtag Germany in here. Just hashtag Germany. I want to, show some love for another country real quick. So if you guys are watching this live or if you're watching on the replay, just hashtag Germany. So yeah, actually I met Philip in actually Atlanta, Georgia, all the way from Germany. He flew into Atlanta, Georgia, and it was actually, I met a lot of these the people that I interviewed at J.R. Rivas' conference. So if you don't know J.R. Rivas, just look him up and hit him up on his Facebook page. He's pretty much active everywhere, but obviously he's active because Philip saw him. I don't know exactly. He'll get into that a little bit later. I don't know exactly how he, ran into him or saw him online. I don't know whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or wherever. But the situation is he saw J.R. Rivas, and I guess he started watching some of his free training at first, I guess. And he actually ended up developing his business out of that. He grew an agency, and then I guess one connection led to a next where actually there's another guy, which he's one of my mentors as well, is Andrew Cruzy, and he talks a lot about building Facebook groups, and Philip actually built a Facebook group, and he also did a launch, and then he made a ton of money on his launch. So it's just, one step after the next. So he's getting ready to get into his story. He's going to tell us how he began, how he grew his business, how it just pretty much, progressed. So actually we were talking a little bit before, and he was just telling me, in the beginning, the water gets very, very cold. And he said, the water gets warmer. And so I just want him to get into that and, just start from, I guess, the cold water to the warm water to, I guess, right now, he's in the hot water. So I just want to open up the floor to Philip and go ahead and, just tell us how you began.
Cool, Mike. Thank you so much for the long introduction. I have nothing to say now anymore. No, I'm just joking. Thank you for having me here on this live. It's actually my first live from Germany to the States. And I happily share my story with you guys and with Mike. I met Mike in October last year, October 2018 in Atlanta, Georgia, because I was flying over to meet finally one of my, or the first mentor, the first coach I had. His name is J.R. Rivas, and I, owe him a lot. All the credits here, and a big shout out to JR. And my story is the following: all the journey started when over a year now, when I was as an employee. I sold electromobility all over the world, to the States, to Australia, and I was an employee, and I was at this sales seminar of this German guru. He's the Grand Cardone of Germany, if you want to say so. And I went to his sales seminar, and it was in July in 2017. Sorry, July 2017. It was the first time I just got in contact with all these, online marketing or digital marketing or whatever. It was a seminar for salespeople, and it was on the weekend, and on Saturday and Sunday. And at the last 5 minutes on Sunday, we were all, full with content, and we were tired and wanted to go home. And he just said, "I want to give you one last tip." And we were thinking, okay, get done, buddy. We are tired, and we have an hour of drive home. And he said, okay, the last tip I gave you on Sunday evening is, I grew my business from 1.3 million a year to 12.7 million a year in just 17 months time period. And we were just, what? Is this a joke or what? And he said he did it, or he achieved it, with social media marketing. And this was the time, was the first contact where I decided at this evening, when I drove home the hour, I decided, okay, I have to go in. I have to gain some knowledge in this business. And it was really interesting for me. And what I started then, maybe it's the law of attraction, but since that day, since the first contact, I was surfing the internet, the Facebook and so forth. And you know, the next day it was a Robert Kiyosaki post. Maybe you know Robert Kiyosaki, and it was he was in a cooperation with Anik Singhal. It's one of the digital marketers from the States as well. And I bought my first course. I invested the first over $2,000, and I, you know, gained the knowledge. My first, it was, yeah, to tip my toes into these new business. And I searched and soaked and everything. And I came from this Singhal to finally to ClickFunnels, the software, you know, the funnel software. And after I was coming to ClickFunnels, I finally found, you know, one of the biggest affiliates of ClickFunnels. It was J.R. Rivas, and I finally found his YouTube channel, and, you know, soaked it up from the first video to the last. And then, like a miracle, out of the blue, I contacted JR, and he just wrote me back on Facebook and said, out of the blue, let's jump on a call, on a Zoom call. I have 15 minutes right now, and I even didn't know what a Zoom call is, because it, you know, Germany is 2 to 3 years behind with all the technology and everything. And I asked, you know, I would love to chat with you, but what is a Zoom call? And he, you know, I downloaded the software, and finally I got through with my microphone and the camera and everything. And JR was talking to me, you know, my idol, if you want to say so. And I just asked him, you know, I saw all your stuff on your YouTube channel, and you explained something about affiliate marketing and about some agency stuff. What do you recommend? At this time, it was a week later or so that I got kicked out of my job as an employee, out of the blue. You know, it was the company which did not run well, but I was in sales, and they did 1 million in revenue just to sell electromobility all over the world. And I was good in sales, and therefore JR recommended to me to, you know, when you're good in sales, he told me, you go into the agency thing, because you can earn, you know, fast money and lots of money. And then I decided at this point, okay, I want to go into this agency thing. And I knew at this point that JR was, I think he was the first 10K achiever of Dan Henry's course. And therefore I invested in Dan Henry's course as well. It was the second investment. No, I did investments in the meantime, I can remember. But this course of Dan Henry, I bought in April, 25th of April in 2018. And I, you know, soaked it up again, and I was now at this time unemployed, meaning I had to push, I went all in at this time. I said, okay, this is now the chance and the opportunity, a lifetime chance for me. I am in the security safety net of Germany, but I want to get out as soon as possible and crush it with this new thing over here, to be able to generate leads, potential new customers or clients for any local business here in Germany. Was a huge, or is always still a huge positive impact or service what you can offer and deliver to German local businesses, even Austrian and Switzerland local businesses, all the German-speaking countries. And I was a consultant before I was in sales. I was a consultant and consulted local business owners to help them to to get their company going again, or that they can have how can I tell? I was consulting companies, and they were very glad that I consulted them with my knowledge. I have a master degree in business administration, but this is a totally trap. As I told you in Miami when we saw the last time, you know, our education system is horrible. And I'm sitting here, I'm earning 10 times the money I earned as a consultant. I have more freedom. I have the life I love, and it's a trap. What we got, we get as an education nowadays to be good in school, have good grades, then you're able to study, and you're able after the study to get a good job and make a good career, and then you're in the rat race, right? When you as an employee, I never saw one guy being a multi-millionaire or really successful and as an employee. So this is definitely a trap, but I didn't know what to do. So therefore I'm really happy and glad now to see it through this lens, that this is all a trap, but this is a totally completely story. What I want to tell you is, yeah, I bought the course end of April. Then in Germany it was the GDPR thing, meaning we had this huge catastrophical situation that Germany was saying, okay, you have to just use specific software which is GDPR compliant. Then I had to kick out some software like ClickFunnels and ActiveCampaign and just structure my whole process in a new way. And then I started in end of May with the agency, when my new process was structured in a new way. And in 33 days, I hit the first 10K in revenue or nearly profit. You know, as an agency owner, you don't have that high fixed costs, meaning you just need, you know, your software, and that's it. It was maybe 100 or 200 bucks in a month, and I did 10K, so nearly all is in revenue. And from since that point, I knew for sure that this stuff is working, and this is a service which is really in high demand. And what I did before was I focused and decided for just one niche, and I can highly recommend it to anybody who is watching right now or seeing it in the replay. Everybody who should, you know, focus on just one niche in specific way, you know, because when you have one niche, you gain a lot of knowledge in this niche, because you're on the phone with just always the same owners of this company. And I decided to offer my service to gyms or fitness studios, and then it has many positive aspects. If you just niche down to one niche, is you get this word in, you get the problems from them, you know how exactly you have to talk with them, and you either and you even build a reputation even more. And this is exactly what I learned in the courses and what I did. And I got my first testimonials from the gym owners, and then, you know, I focused on gym chains, you know, franchise chains. And since then, you know, literally it skyrocketed, because I had the first testimonial and the second and the third, and then they were reaching out to me. When I did all what I learned in the courses, you know, to the different possibilities to reach out, you know, via email or phone or Facebook Messenger or whatever, a Facebook group or whatever. And then, you know, I scaled up from 10K in the first months, then 13 or 14 in the second, and more. And in the fourth month, I had over 37,000 euros in revenue. And it was in September last year. And I was so overwhelmed what was possible nowadays with this kind of service. And what I did then is, yeah, in September, I decided, I saw JR's advertisement for his first mastermind in Atlanta. And I said, you know, I have now the freedom I wanted. I'm able to work from all over the world just with my laptop and the Wi-Fi connection. And I have a lot of money in my bank account. And I want to meet this guy in person. And this was the best decision, not just to soak all the knowledge from the States, because, you know, as I said before, you're definitely 2 to 3 years ahead or in front of all the other countries all over the world in regards of online marketing, because all these softwares, all these, you know, social media things are coming from the States. And I said, okay, I want to give back. I want to meet this guy in person. And I didn't know that is such a huge event. I just thought, as he mentioned, it is a mastermind for just 30 people. And he didn't even have to sell me on his sales page, because for me it was just so crystal clear that I have to meet these guys. And I booked the ticket. The flight was 11 hours. I booked me the hotel and everything. And then I was in this room. I was sitting behind you, the next row behind you, Mike. I can't exactly remember, but you sitting on the left side in front of me. And then, you know, JR came in, and I was, you know, like, what the fuck, you know, it was just an amazing experience for me. And all the other guys, you know, in this room, 50 people, the best online marketers, or some of the best online marketers, you know, there were, you know, since then I know all by heart, or we are really good friends. There was, you know, 6, 7, even 8-figure business owners in this mastermind. I can tell, you know, I Cody Neer, and, you know, all the great speakers, Jeff Miller or Andrew Cruzy, Rob Quinn, everybody was there. And since then I'm totally yeah, I'm totally into this game and love this game. And this was one of my best decisions I made for last year. It was in October, and we went to Top Golf with the guys, and we had so much fun. And yeah, since then, I decided there and then in Atlanta to give my knowledge to more and more people, because it was for me the decision to take. And I talked with Andrew Cruzy in this mastermind and in Atlanta. And afterwards, I reached out to Andrew, because he convinced me in his, you know, presentation that he is my next coach. And I'm so super pumped about it, to be able, because of these, you know, first thing for me to fly over to JR in Atlanta, to get in contact with these kind of people, these kind of coaches, now these kind of friends, and to soak always new knowledge from different coaches. As of right now, I'm sitting here, I've invested nearly $20,000 into knowledge, into courses, into seminars, and so forth. And it is crucial. I want to tell you, it is crucial to always invest first to reap the fruits afterwards. It's a game, and I love this game, because I always wanted to, you know, gain more and more knowledge, and always learn more. You know, lifelong learning is so important for, yeah, growth and in business, or in your private life as well. And I invested in Andrew Cruzy's Authority Accelerator. He's a, I don't know, I don't find any words for my coaches. JR, Andrew Cruzy, they are just awesome guys in a personal way. You know, when you have contact with them every week, and you can shoot them messages when you have any questions, and they answer you, and then you recognize that this is a friendship when you struggle. You know, when you have coaches, I always try to find coaches which are at least 1 level, even 2 levels in front of me, you know, with mindset or revenue or whatever. And at the beginning, it is just overwhelming for me to learn this new stuff. But then when you have your downs, because all the success is an up and a down curve, it's not always like this. It's you know, it's like in a roller coaster. But when you have downs, and you can reach out to your coaches, and they have the right answers, and they know exactly where you stand. And this is so crucial for success. And, you know, good coaches is crucial. And yeah, I built my Facebook group. I built out my online course, and to be able not just to satisfy Yeah, German-speaking local businesses with the service of getting new clients or new leads. I was recognizing that I have to duplicate myself. I have to copy myself to give people, more and more people, my knowledge and therefore the chance to get out of their rat race when they're not satisfied with their employee job or whatever, and offer the service for their, you know, niches or local businesses in their area or whatever. And yeah, I was in December, I was 4 weeks traveling with my friends just to reset, to be grateful what I have achieved last year. I came back in Christmas on the 23rd of December after Colombia and Panama, and traveling around and staying on lonely islands and just, you know, focus on other important things in life. Friendship is really important for me. And then I you know, worked my butt off literally to get my course, you know, running. And I had a crowd of, I don't know how many people were in my Facebook group at this day, but I did exactly what Andrew was coaching me. And I opened the gates to my online course where I, you know, offered, you know, German-speaking students all my knowledge I gained the last months and years from all my different coaches, JR, and, you know, all the YouTube stuff and dance stuff and everything. You know, this is actually here the award from Dan Henry, the 25K award, which you just get when you get revenue over 25K in one single month. And I had to prove it and send it all my, you know, transactions of my bank account that I did nearly 38K. But this is where I'm really proud of. And yeah, I opened the gates to my own course on the 14th of January this year. And I just was searching for 15 highly motivated people who had time and who had the energy. And, you know, best is you have some skills in sales as well. Then I knew I let 15 highly motivated people in, and I want to, yeah, show results as soon as possible. That my course works. And what came out, the result was that not 15, I had to let in 23, not 15, because they were just messaging me, let me in, because it was such a low price at the beginning just to get people in. And yeah, the results we have now on the table, you know, the best of my course, the best students, they did just a girl from Switzerland, Melanie. I'm really proud of her. She's crushing it. She did just 5 weeks. She did nearly 20K in revenue. The second best is Alexander. He did in 4 weeks 9K. And Chris, he did over 5K. The other Christian, he did over 6K in just 4 or 5 weeks. So this shit works, and this shit works here in other countries of the world as well. And since then, I have now in my course, in my program, over 50 people, and I raised the price at the moment. It's on the market for 2,400 euro to get in my course, into my group coaching, because I offer coaching as well. And, you know, as I learned from Andrew. And yeah, as of right now, I partnered up with a new coach. His name is Nick Robbins. I'm so fucking stoked that I have such a coach. You know, he's a multi-millionaire and really, really, he's crushing the game. He's a godfather in this business, in this agency, and he's coaching me right now. So I'm really grateful and happy, and yeah, to have such an circle right now. And yeah. As I, you know, I forgot the story of Miami, because we were finally meeting up in Miami at the CrossCon again, and I don't know when was. Yeah, I know for sure Miami was the first weekend in March, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, this was another thing to just celebrate. that you can have a life as you wish or can imagine when you just follow the steps or the paths what your coaches tell you. It's like a recipe. I always tell it's like a recipe, meaning if you want to have a specific meal, like, say spaghetti carbonara, then you don't know anything about how to cook it. But if you reach out to your best restaurant, to the cook of this best restaurant where you always enjoy these specific meal, and ask the cook to be your coach, and he gives you the recipe, and you follow the recipe exactly, the same steps, you take the onions for 10 minutes into the pan and make it and so forth. And he is looking over your shoulder and shows you exactly the way. After you follow the recipe from your coach, you finally will have the spaghetti carbonara on your table, and it will taste delicious. And this was, this is always what I tell the guys, invest in great coaches and you will see it works, and always invest in yourself and you will get 5x or 10x, or even, I don't know, I didn't calculate what X I have right now, but it's huge, it's just huge. And I'm so grateful for this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I know you talked about my introduction, but you took a long introduction. So
this was not an introduction, Mike. This is actually from a story. We can just close the window now.
Yeah, but I know I took a couple of notes during your story and everything. I know, it just seems like, you kept progressing and progressing. I mean, at what point, did you say, well, or what point in your progression did you say, this is really going to work? Because I know you said you were unemployed a little bit, and I don't know if in the beginning did you have a job or you just lost your job. But at what point in your progression did you just say, this is really going to work? I need to go hard at this, and or what? At what time did it just click? When did you say, oh, I got it now?
Yeah, it was the first campaign I ran, because I didn't know anything. I reached out to the first gym owner and offered him a free trial, a free week of, my service. And I bombarded him with questions to get into this whole, gym owner thinking and wording and everything. And I, built up my first campaign for this specific gym. And today I'm, running for this gym campaign as well. So it's over a year now, but we are still in contact. This is awesome. And yeah, the first campaign I ran for this specific gym, it was fucking crushing it. After 6 days, we had 60 leads. After 10 days, we had 90 leads. And he said to me, please stop. We don't have the process. I don't have the capacity to call the leads and so forth. And I overwhelmed him so much that I knew, wow, this is working. This is really working. And, these are all people in this specific city who gave us the name, the email address, and the phone number to get these specific offer, the bait. And I said at this very moment, okay, this is working. This was proof for me. And this was the time as the parachute opened. And, since then, I just got my first testimonial of him. I reached out to the same group of, business owners. And yeah, since then I did, I think I did 5 trials that I got 4 or 5 testimonials. And then I said, okay, the first week is not free anymore. I have to charge because I have this software and blah, blah. And since then I offered just 1 week because everything was totally new, meaning nobody knew about this service. So I scaled up from a free trial to a paid trial week, and then I lengthened from 1 week to a month, and then from 1 month to 3 months, and so forth. And this is, you take these little baby steps at the beginning, but since then I knew this process works, and then I got paid, in the 33 days 10K, and then I knew for sure, okay, this is amazing.
Wow, that's an interesting story. I know you talked about, because I guess that's a lot of people's drawback and setback is like, well, I'm having trouble prospecting. And then when I do get a prospect, it's like, what do I do? How do I serve them? It's like, you know, and then you talked about going down into one niche. It's like, even if I do have one niche, I guess a lot of people don't have a lot of confidence. So I guess you built up confidence. So originally, I guess when you first started, because I heard you say that you're asking this gym owner questions and stuff. It's like, you know, just trying to get in his mindset. So had I guess up until that point, had you ever ran any Facebook ads or anything like that for anybody else, even your own self, or you just kind of?
I just knew it, you know, in a theoretical way from the course, but this was actually my first practical, you know, campaign. And I built up it was with ClickFunnels landing page and thank you page. But then after this campaign, I changed just to Facebook lead ads. And yeah, it was my first experience. And I said, what the heck? It's just, you know, they're pouring in the leads, you know.
That's interesting you say that, because I mean that's what, you know, a lot of people talk about, and I've said this before too. Is like, you guys just need to get out there. You know, you need to try. It's like, you know, just start something, even if its campaign wasn't successful. It seems like Philip has the mindset where it's like, I'm going to get this until, you know, it is successful. And yeah, it happened. I mean, you know, he might be, you know, a 1% or whatever, you know, 1%, you know, everybody else might be 99%. But the thing is, you know, the situation is, you still just got to try. I mean, you know, you may not know what you're doing, but I mean, even in you trying, you know, that's a step you can learn. So that's interesting that you said that. And just for the fact that, you know, I just had to touch on this, for the fact that you didn't even know what Zoom was. I mean, he said, you know, pretty much didn't even know what Zoom was. And
Mike, it's my first time today on Be Live, you know, I didn't be on this Be Live before. So it's all, you know, a little bit later here.
And you know, that's the thing. I just heard somebody say, you know, I was driving earlier this morning. It's like, you just got to step out of, you know, your comfort zone. So I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's not necessarily, you know, just doing stuff. You know, it's like, well, you know, I'm going to do stuff that I'm scared about, you know. But I mean, you know, not even that, man. It's just stepping out of your comfort zone. Once you step out of your comfort zone, somebody, you know, recently said, once you step out of your comfort zone, it's not you doing anything anymore. You leave it up to the circumstances. So the circumstances are in control. Because once you get out, you mean, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to expect because you're out of your comfort zone. So that's pretty interesting that, you know, Philip is, you know, he's constantly doing. But I mean, if you look at him, he said, you know, look at what he's doing here, where he said that he pretty much, you know, he ran a campaign that he really didn't know how to run. He ran a campaign for another successful business. A lot of people have a lot of drawbacks with that. You know, I don't know how much money the gym owner put in. It's like, well, you know, you're using another business owner's, you know, money. But the thing is, that business owner is going to use that money for something. So why don't you try to help them, you know, assist you? Because I mean, really, you're killing two birds with one stone. I mean, yeah, you know, some people look at it and say, well, you're using the gym owner, you know, a business owner's money to get your training. But I mean, the situation is, the money is going to go to waste. I mean, yeah, I guess you can say, well, they're going to pay Facebook. Facebook's going to use the money. But I mean, still, maybe you're killing three birds. You're paying Facebook. He's, you know, trying to grow his business, and you're giving somebody else training. So the way I look at that is, you know, it's pretty much that money is going to go somewhere. It's going to go to waste either way. So at least Philip, you know, had already put the time and the effort into training, and he knew what he was going to do, or at least he tried, you know, to train. So even if the campaign wasn't successful, I'm pretty sure that the training actually showed him, the training that he watched, whether it was from JR, whether it was from Andrew, or whether from whoever else, the German guy that he mentioned, you know, the salesman. I mean, the situation with that is, you know, he took the training on that specific area. The business owner, he knows how to grow his business, or he knows how to run his business. But Philip actually knows how to help him market his business. So I don't think, you know, some people say that's a bad investment to pay, you know, for some. Well, leave it up to the business owner. It's not for you to say. So in this situation, you see that Philip actually grew the gym owner, which I've heard a few other people say that, where they actually ran, you know, Facebook campaigns, and they were so successful that the business owner told them to turn the ads off. It's like, we can't receive all these leads. So there's a lesson for you guys too. Is like, you know, if you understand and you're confident in what you can do, let the business owner know. It's like, you know, you're doing campaigns and stuff. Some of the campaigns you ran in the past, or either some of the, you know, maybe you haven't ran them yourself, but the person that you're following and the training that you're watching, some of the training that, or the person that is training, they ran those campaigns. So just let the business owner know, is like, I can bring you leads and you get so many leads that you want to turn the ads off. So let them know that in the beginning. Is like, do you have a capacity to handle these leads? Because if you go up and tell a company that, is like, who is this guy? It's like, he's telling me he's going to bring me so much business that I'm going to tell him to stop. So, I mean, that's your, one selling point right there. So, I wanted to touch on, I guess, just the educational system. I know I'm pretty sure everybody knows Ty Lopez. Everybody talks about Ty Lopez. Actually, I have ran into a few people who actually don't know who Ty Lopez is. Actually, I was in California the last time, and they were like, "Why are you here?" I was like, "I'm for a Ty Lopez event." They're like, "Who's Ty Lopez?" Then we were in Miami, and actually, I guess it was the Uber driver. Which, I mean, obviously, even in Miami, Grant Cardone did a lot, with the 10X conference. He had billboards up about, they were on billboards, around Miami, the city, and all that stuff. And our Uber driver was driving us to the Marlins Park. And we asked her, she's like, "Why are you here?" Like, "We're here for, Grant Cardone." She's like, "I know him." And, we mentioned Ty. She was like, "I have no idea who that is." It's like, his face is on the billboards. Like, you've seen the bill. At least you should. She was like, "No, I've never really heard of him." So it's like, I guess some people really don't know who Ty is, but still, he talks a lot about the educational system. And you said the educational system's horrible in Germany, but I mean, I don't think it's, that much better here now, here in America, in the States. I don't think it is at all. So, and they don't teach you what you need. Like we were talking, before we got on, we were talking about how society in itself just pretty much, they teach kids how to, just from kids. They actually teach us in adolescence at young age. They teach us to go to school. You have to be, at school a certain amount of time. If you don't go to school, your parents will go to jail, and you're still going to have to go to school. So it's pretty much, and then when you go to school, or, elementary school, then middle school, then, you go to high school, then you go to college. It's like they just have a plan for us, pretty much, you do this, you do this, you do this. And just being an entrepreneur and stepping outside of that box. Because once you graduate from college, they say, yeah, you need to go work a job. Then what do they tell you on the job? You're learning that you need to come to work between this time. So, I mean, it's like, it's just, pretty much you're in prison, even though a lot of people don't look. It's like, well, you're not prisoner, they're paying you and you're doing all that. But I mean, still, you can't do what you want to do. I mean, you can't go to bed when you want to go to bed, because if you go to bed, you're not going to be able to function when you want to at your job, or you may oversleep or something on your job. So the situation is your job is controlling your life. So, and you just heard Philip say that he actually got to travel the world. I mean, that's something that if you work a job, you cannot do that, because you only have a certain amount of vacation days. Now you can say, well, I can go here and go there, for a certain amount of time. I can go here for a few days. Then, on this date, then, I can save my other days and go here, a little bit later on in the year. But I mean, that's the thing. Philip is telling you that he has freedom right now. So I guess just, touching on the educational system, I mean, as far as what are your goals as far as educating? Because I know you have students and everything like that. I mean, what is your goal as far as educating anybody, just educating people in general? I mean, do you have a plan for that? Do you have, how are you going to do that? And do you feel that it's necessary to do that?
Yeah, the goal is for this year to bring as much people into my program, to help as much people to free themselves and experience the lifestyle which is possible nowadays. To get the regional freedom, the timely freedom, and the financial freedom, where you just be able to work from wherever you want. And my goal is to help at least 250 people this year with my program to get out of the rat race and just coach them as good as possible to finally, see the life, I say, to get them out of the matrix, as you want to say so,
And I guess I was pretty much listening to you as far as your students. I mean, this is the type of coach that you want. I mean, you don't hear too many coaches, gurus, whatever you want to call them. You don't hear too many trainers actually know the successes and the results of their students. I mean, he named about 4 or 5 students, and he knew it down to the number, specifically what they made. So, I mean, you guys need to reach out to him, if he's, this is the type of coach that you want. Because, I mean, you can see that he cares about his students, because he knew exactly how much, they made, pretty much, what they made. So, I mean, I guess, obviously, you have a heart for coaching. And I guess how did you know it was time to actually transition from, just the agency owner into a coach? Because I know a lot of people want to do that. Some people, some people say, well, I don't want to coach, but I mean, I guess they still feel led like to coach, train people. So, I mean, what was it for you that said, I need to start helping people and training people and coaching people?
You know, first of all, I want to say that I'm still in the agency business. I run my campaigns just because I have fun doing it, meaning to just see what happens in this market, you know, new softwares, new tricks, new things. And I did it with different niches in the meantime, because I wanted to prove that I just cannot generate leads for just the gym niche. Then I did it for, you know, a cosmetic studio, massage studio, even for a drummer coach, for real estate agents, you know, you name it, just to prove before I launched the course to be able to generate leads for many niches. It's just always the same, you know, nearly this. The template is the same. It's just a new offer and a new wording and so forth. But the structure works, and I wanted to prove that first, and then, to be honest, the story was that my brother was my first student. My brother is or was in selling insurances 10 years, and he quit last year in June because he said he's sick of this job. And I taught him as my first student what I, you know, learned before. And I was saying at this time, he quit his job in June. He had in October over 16K in profit. So I was sure when I can teach him, I can, you know, teach anybody, because, you know, brothers are, you know, it gets loud, it gets rough, you know, and blah, and therefore, and then, you know, I was sure I can teach this stuff to anybody. And I was flying over to Atlanta, where we finally met the first time, with the idea, what is my next step? And I was talking to JR, I was talking to Andrew Cruzy and so forth. And finally I decided in Atlanta, okay, my next step is to just help more people, helping more local businesses with, you know, pushing the revenues and the business. And this is, you know, to be honest, the best service you can offer, when you just help people and help businesses to grow. And it makes me happy every day to have this possibility. I'm waking up every day at 5 a.m. and just say, what are my goals for today? And focus on them. And yeah, I'm still alive, even if I work 16, 17 hours a day. And it makes me happy, you know.
Well, let me ask you this question, as far as, because I know a lot of people, they actually don't make it, you know, I mean, a lot of people aren't successful. Why do you feel that a lot of people are not successful? Why do they fail at their goals? Why do they never, or why don't they accomplish their dreams? What's your reason for that? What's your answer to that question?
Yeah, the answer is, it takes five secrets to be successful. If you have just 4, you fail. For me, it takes, you have to have all 5. The number 1 is the maybe most crucial one, is the mindset. And this is why I read a lot. You know, I don't watch television the last 13 years or 12 or 13 years. I just read. I try to read at least 3 to 4 books a month, because, you know, I'm really deeply into self-development. You know, the Tony Robbins stuff, the Jack Canfield stuff, the Bob Proctor stuff, all this stuff. Why? Because I have decided for myself, I want to get better every day. You know, the mistakes and faults I did yesterday, I don't want to make today and not tomorrow as well. So it's an improving every single day. And this is a mindset thing, meaning you have to be positive. And it's when you see the glass of water half full and not half empty, then you are ahead of many people. And this is so crucial to have this mindset. To, you know, we as human beings, we have the chance in comparison to plants or to animals, that we can, you know, change our thoughts proactively, meaning we can decide if a situation which happens to you is good or bad. You know, the animal and the plant have not this ability. We human beings, we have this. And when you are clear with you and with your life and what is your mission, your purpose, and what is your goals, and you work with these kind of stuff, you get this mindset that you're unbreakable, and this is the #1 of having on getting success. Number two is you have to set goals. You know, when you don't set any goals, you wake up every morning and don't know what to do. I always tell the story of you are a small boat on the huge ocean, and when you don't have goals, you don't know where to set the sail or how to, you know, steer in which direction. And the ocean, the waves and everything, they're just chugging you around, and you are lost in the ocean. So when you have goals, and I recommend to have written goals, you have to write them down. And to be honest, these are my children's behind me, and I write down my goals every day in the morning and in the evening before I go to bed, because you have to, you have to know what you want from your life, and we have to see that we are just a traveler or a visitor on this planet. You know, it's not, our life is limited, and therefore I decided I make the best out of it, and I have to get this and this and that in my life, and then I write it down. And this is, you know, #2 of the 5. And #3 is I have daily routines and habits. Meaning I wake up every morning at 5 a.m., I jump out of the bed and have a routine. You know, I have to make the first hour, the first 60 minutes, I do exactly what Robin Sharma is telling me. He wrote a book and he published it just for maybe 1.5, 2 months ago. It's the 5 a.m. Club. And he says in this book, and he says it on all his YouTube videos, that you have to have routines and habits. And there are bad habits on this planet, and there are good habits on this planet. And if you have bad habits, for example, you smoke cigarettes, or you drink a lot of alcohol, or you watch TV, or you're shouting at your family, or whatever, you can stop. You can stop with these bad habits. And if it's just one bad habit every year which you stop, and instead of a bad habit, you build up a good habit. For example, instead of smoking, you jog or whatever, or you read, or you go into self-development and so forth. And this is you know, the routine to get better every day is #3. #4 is, as I mentioned before, always have coaches and trainers and mentors. You know, like I told you the story with the recipe. Why make all the mistakes yourself when you have a coach who shows you the path, the way to success? You just follow him and you will get the same results. It's that easy, you know. And #5, which is probably, you know, most important, even more important as #1, is to just take massive action, to just go all in and crush every day out, grind every day out, and work your butt off. And these are my 5 secrets, which is not a thing you develop overnight. You have to work them out. And you know, I didn't get them overnight or from day to day, but you can work on these 5 things, and then you are settled for success. Yeah.
So I guess, what's the best way to work on those 5 things? Is it just reading books? Is it, I mean, or is it just a combination of everything where you just pretty much?
Yeah, to read books is a very good way. But what I do in the morning, in the first hour, you know, I listen to YouTube channels of motivational things, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Mulligan brothers, and just to find in the day to have these mindset. They are telling me there are, you know, great ones out there, and the first hour is critical, meaning you do some sports, you do some fitness in the morning. I stretch and I have my running shoes there, or I do my push-ups and my planks and so forth. And it's just three things, you know, to make sport, to visualize your goals and to write them down and to read. These three things, 20 minutes each, and you are set for the day. And if you keep this going, if you get a routine with that, you get this mindset for sure. And you know, you have to know that there are so many struggles at the beginning, even especially if you're going out of the employee thing and go into the entrepreneur thing. You have to face that there are so many struggles at the beginning, and everybody seems to be against you and so forth. But you have to stay strong and jump and burn all your ships and go all in, and then finally the parachute will open. And it's, as I said to you, it's just a matter of time, but it will open when you put in the work, when you go all in.
That's true. That's true. And I want to touch on, I guess, the mentor aspect of it, because you pretty much, you guys just heard him say, you know, he was from J.R. Reavers, Andrew Cruzy, now Nick Robbins. And actually, well, I don't want to pronounce the German guy's name. I don't know. Did you mention his name? But I mean,
I don't want to mention his name. He's just a sales guy, you know.
But I mean, still, I mean, that's pretty crucial and important. Now, I guess all of, well, pretty much the ones that he mentioned here, the one Philip mentioned here, the ones Philip mentioned here were actually, you know, in his particular area. But I know Ty Lopez says that he actually has 15 to 20 different mentors, but they're in different areas. Like he talks to psychologists, he has, I guess, business mentors. And I mean, he has like, I don't know, I guess, pretty much, you know, like doctors and stuff on there. So he always talks about just having, I guess, a broad spectrum of, you know, different mentors. And he said that he actually calls them, I guess, once a month, each one of them once a month, and they talk for, you know, like an hour. And he said, you know, the true sign of a true mentor is, you know, when you can pick up the phone and call them and they actually answer. So he said, you know, if they really don't answer, you know, then they're more than likely they don't want to, you know, be around you. So, I mean, there's, you know, one motivational fact right there. And I've heard, actually, I've said this before, and a lot of the people that I've actually interviewed said before, and pretty much Philip's saying the same thing, where if you want to, I guess, progress, then you actually need to invest, you know, into a mentor, into a coach, into a trainer, or somebody that actually knows, somebody at a higher level. That way, you know, they can show you what they know, and then they can pull you up to their level. Yeah, you can go read books. Yeah, you can go watch, you know, more, or, you know, training videos. But it's like, if you really invest in that person, and like, just pretty much just like he was saying, I mean, if you take the, I guess, the recipe example where somebody is actually, you know, you're trying to cook and there's a chef over your shoulder. Because how many times have you guys actually tried to, you know, bake a cake or make a meal, or, you know, put something in the oven, but there's no chef there with you and it just turns out horrible? But if you had a chef right there saying, no, I wouldn't put that, maybe just a little more of this or a little more in that, you know, if they're right there with you, I mean, that's a different story. And obviously, yeah, that meal is going to turn out, you know, very good. That dish or whatever you're preparing is going to turn out, you know, very, very good. So that's the thing. Is like, you know, if you want to take your, you know, progression, yeah, and then as you, you know, if you go back to that, you can say, well, you know, I can take this cooking book out and I can read it, prepare the meal. Okay, it's not good this time. Then you know, you can do it again. You know, you prepare the meal. But why do something 10 or 20 times when you can do something maybe 1 or 2 times if you had somebody showing you? It's taking your time as progression. Just like Philip said, you know, the situation is, you know, you only have, you know, pretty much one life. You know, time is very, very valuable. You're only going to live one time. So why would you spend all your time doing something that you know, could do, you know, in one setting, in one, you know, just at 1 or 2 times? Well, you know, why would you prolong that and progress that? So, Philip, you know, I want to close down. Actually, we've been on here pretty much almost about an hour now. So, actually, I want to ask you this last question. As far as, you know, some people think it's lighthearted. Some people think, you know, it's just, you know, funny question, deep question, whatever. But if you were to have one superpower, what would it be and why?
A superpower. A superpower. You know, I think every human being has a strength, or even if you want to tell it, say a superpower. And in life, for my perspective, is one of the biggest goals is to find your superpower, because not everybody knows what his strengths and weaknesses are and what is your purpose or your mission. And I read a book of Jack Canfield, and he says in this book, you have to write down not just one goal which you have in life. He says you have to write down 100 goals. And it takes a little bit time. You not with a finger snap you find 100 goals in your life. You have to be in a silent mood, and you know, it took me, to be honest, 3 or 4 weeks to be able to write down my 100 goals in my life. And when you know this is your, you know, it depends what passions you are and what you love in your life, and then you crystallize the goals out of your life. And this 100 goals, when you form and achieve with using your superpowers, and I think your superpowers, or it changes over the lifetime. Meaning, as of right now, as I sit here and talk to you, I think my superpower is to be able to teach people to get out of the rat race and get out of the 9-to-5 and get to achieve their goals. And this is what I have as a superpower right now. And I don't know if this is my mission or my superpower 3 years from now. But when you always work and always learn more about things, then you just propel up. And I hope that in 3 years my next superpower is you know, something else maybe. But you know, this is my answer to what is my superpower right now. I enjoy really what I do. I love it. I get good reputation, and not a good reputation, a good feedback from my students. And this is what makes me happy to say, okay, what I do, what my superpower is, I have success with it.
That's good. That's a good. I've never really heard, you know, anybody say that, but you know, it does make sense, you know, because I guess the, you know, the situation that you're in, you know, in your life right now is going to actually change later. I mean, you're pretty much doing something that you're doing now, but that you're not going to do later on in your life. Pretty much, you know, the situations are going to change, you know, in your life as you progress, as you grow more, as you learn more. So, I mean, things are going to change. So therefore, you know, I guess you're pretty much, you know, your superpower will change, you know. So, I mean, that's an interesting take. Most people just come out and say something, you know, but, you know, you really had a thought about it, you know, as, you know, pretty much a transitional superpower where, you know, you transition, you know, pretty much, you know, throughout and everything. But thank you, Philip, for, you know, joining on, dropping knowledge bombs. You know, I guess it was, who was it? Luis Alvarado. He came on and, you know, he dropped a wisdom bomb that I'm actually still thinking about, where he said, you know, you need to make 1,000-year goals. But actually, you just opened my mind too, and you pretty much just said, you know, instead of just having, you know, one goal, like, you know, one purpose, you know, you said that, or the book that you read or whatever, but just for the fact you said it. So you need to make, you know, 100 goals for your life. So, I mean, that's my big, you know, takeaway from, you know, this interview is, you know, you guys out there, you know, not even necessarily, you know, just one goal, but have 100 goals. Because actually, you know, if you think about some of the entrepreneurs now, and just the fact of the internet and everything, you know, a lot of people are accomplishing and reaching their goals, and they're like, well, you know, I accomplished my goal, you know, because I actually retired, or, you know, resigned from my 9-to-5 job, you know, or either, you know, I made, you know, a specific type of money because of the internet. A lot of people are being able to do that. And in the past, it wasn't so easy to do that because the information, you know, really didn't have the information to do that unless you were, I guess, and, you know, privy to the information, or you were, you know, had to develop the relationship with a big business owner and stuff like that. But I mean, just for the fact of, you know, once you do accomplish your goal, it's like, what next? So, I mean, that's one thing, you know, that you can do is have 100 goals for your life. And like he said, you know, it took him 3 weeks. Philip said it took him 3 weeks to make 100 goals. But I mean, not even, I mean, that's, I mean, now that, you know, I'm sitting here thinking about it, my mind is kind of blown just for the fact that you were actually focused on that for, you know, 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, you know, it may not have been the whole time, but I mean, just that you took time out, you know, during the day. And that's actually, you know, that's self-development just for the fact that you are doing that. You know, some people are like, well, let me just write 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals. But I mean, just for the fact of, you know, you took really 3 weeks. So I mean, I guarantee you that it wasn't just for the fact that you came up with 100 goals. You know, that was your goal, to come up with 100 goals. But I mean, I guarantee you that you found something that you didn't know about yourself in that process. So
for sure, yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty interesting as well. So Philip, how can people reach you? I mean, obviously, you know, you're blowing up, man. You know, you got the agency going, you got your coach. I mean, you got students making a ton of money. How can people reach you? How can somebody be one of your students? That way they can follow you. That way they can follow in your footsteps, and you can coach them, mentor them. How can people reach out to you? What's the best way? Facebook, Instagram, what?
Yeah, the easiest way is on Facebook. It's Philip NV Lang, or on Instagram, it's the Philip Lang. Maybe you can just, you know, they can see us, our live here. They can reach out on Messenger or whatever. Yeah, I'm happy to help anybody who needs help. I'm helping out, of course.
All right, thanks so much, Philip. And you heard it here. So that's what you guys need to work on. Work on creating and making, you know, 100 goals. You know, it's, you know, not just one, not just two, but 100 goals. That way, you know, you can actually find something new about yourself in that process. Self-development, self, you know, intuition, self, whatever you want to look at it, man. Just, you know, just a change in your life. So I appreciate Philip hopping on with us, and we will see you guys on the next one, which actually is going to be tomorrow. I'm going to interview another guy. So I got the post on there, Antoine Gray. He's doing a lot of big things on Facebook. So check it out, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. But thank you, Philip, for hopping on, and we will see you guys tomorrow. You guys have a good one.